Okay. Am I on? Yeah, I guess I am. And no coughing this time, Miss Sharon. Oh, I love that sound. Still. Oh my goodness. Reiki masters do not sneeze. They divert energy. Oh boy. I am so happy with myself today as I am every day. Let's see. I I don't know who that is. Come back here, you. Um, who is that? I don't know. Okay, that's all right. And I need to turn myself off for a moment. Da-dum, da-dum, dum. La, 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 da-dum, da-dum. Okay. La, 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 da, la, 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 um, la, 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 mhm. Okay. Mhm, 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 mhm. I think that's everybody. I sent it off. Yippee, yippee. Okie dokie. There we are. And there's 1 minute to go. And I don't know why I'm sneezing now. Have no incense going on. Oh, did I send to Caroline? I think I did. Uh-oh. Mm, I think I did. Okay. Hmm. And it's awfully quiet on this end. No music in the background? No. No, this is the way I like it. Well, on this end anyway. Let's see. Ah, cut the sound. I'm muting for one. Okay, there's no one up yet. And that's okay. I'm up and I'm ready. And good evening. This is Reverend Sharon, and good evening and welcome to the continuation of the energies coming through the Lion's Gate. It is my privilege to be here, whether or not it's all me or someone may be popping in, or two or three, or people may be listening in later on. That doesn't matter. The important thing is is that I'm in place, and whoever is to be in place will be in place whenever they're supposed to be. As always, I start out you are a healer with a meditation. If there's anybody that's going to notice an accent wandering in and out of my vocal cords from time to time, yeah, I've got a slight one that I'm sort of allowing to run free at this time in my life. And burning so much incense because of the because of the Lion's Gate. I've been burning extra incense and trying to stay focused with extra prayers and meditations, and so uh, and extra chanting with mantras. That'll do it. That'll make you sound a little hoarse sometimes, especially when you're trying to locate your note, your sound. And so, and that's something that I will go into at some point, locating your own sound. But it's a good thing when you can do that. Bottom line, it's a magnificent thing when you can locate your frequency from within, your vibration from within. So I'm going to start with my favorite, which I think most people who listen to me are aware of the fact that I have a mantra from my days at the ashram, which I'm really, ah, who was it that say you could never go home again? Though I wish that particular atmosphere was still available, it's not. The ashram has moved and the teacher has gone on to the next dimension and so on and so forth. So what I have are the memories of that and the vibration of the energy of those memories. So this is what I will be doing for the next minute or so. It's the mantra of Om Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. And now I would like to say a prayer for every single soul, everywhere in this matrix, what we call planet Earth, the schematic of what we call planet Earth. I'd like to say a blessing that each and every soul, wherever they may be, will be directed from within their own sovereignty, directed to that place within, that place where they find comfort, and solace, that place where miracles are manifested. And breathe. Taking a deep breath, that is what we do at You Are a Healer. We focus and emphasize the breathing pattern, the going within. And so, you who will listen to this, or who may be listening on a higher frequency, lower your eyelids, the lids of your eyes, allowing your eyes to be directed upwards towards the center between the eyebrows on your forehead. And breathe. Breathing deeply through the nostrils, taking in as much as you possibly can of the breath of life. Breathing deeply, releasing through parted lips. Again, inhaling as deeply as you possibly can, allowing that breath to radiate within you. Releasing through parted lips. Once again, inhale, holding for the count of 3. As you release, inhale again for the count of 3. Release, inhale, release, inhale. Only for the count of 3. As you do this, as you radiate this energy, this light, which is the essence of the light form within you, feel your essence. Know that you are an infinite being with all that that entails. As an infinite being of light, there is no limitation to what you can expect from yourself. You are so much greater than you have ever imagined yourself to be. What you consider to be a challenge or a problem is your perception of that. And breathe. Breathing in again. Remembering the truth of who you are. Spiritual being. That is who you are. An immortal spiritual being. That is who you are. Sovereign. A sovereign who has forgotten their integral alliance with one source. One source lives within you. And breathe. As you direct one source, as you hold the magnificence of one source in your heart, place your right hand in between the throat chakra and the heart chakra. It is called the thalamus. And through this positioning of the hand, you may feel the vibration of light as it generates its frequencies through you. You are created from that which scientists have designated as electricity. We use it all the time. We turn on a switch, our computers run, our cell phones regenerate. We have light within our homes. What you have forgotten is that as you turn on a light switch or a switch to turn on the light, so do you have that same ability to turn on the light within you. And breathe. Taking responsibility for that ability is a challenge for some, and understandably so. We have always been taught to depend on someone else to assist us in turning on the light of divine love that lives within us. This is a part of who we were. However, right now, right at this moment in time, when the gates of heaven, as you might say, no, that's the lion's gates are not the gates of heaven. They are, it is a portal of energy at a frequency that is more powerful than any other frequency we've encountered throughout the several months of this year. Taking a deep breath, allowing the right hand to stay in the position between the throat and the heart. Place your left hand just above what is called the sacral chakra or the navel. To be more familiar, it is considered the belly button. But in the lower abdomen is where you should like to place your hand. Upon doing this, take in another deep breath. Hopefully, you're in a position where you are able to stretch your back, lean into yourself, meaning sit in the position of royalty that you are, comfortable, but not without a certain alignment. Okay, pardon me. This was something that I should have done before. And not to worry, that won't happen again. Normally, I turn this off. Let's see, how far can I put it so that it doesn't trouble the messenger and it does not dilute the message. We are still in the motion of breathing through the chakras, aligning our chakras now as we speak. Left hand in the lower, on the lower abdomen. right hand between the throat chakra and the heart chakra. And as you breathe in through the nostrils, allow your breaths to take on the pace of the vibration you're feeling through your body. You are feeling a frequency. It is coming from your heart. Allow yourself to blend in with that frequency. Your heart is the essence of what you have been looking for all of your life. It is from the heart that your love expounds. It is from the heart that you connect with the heart of the universe. And in this particular moment, as the lion's gate is open, it is from the vibration of your heart that you connect with the gate. This has an advantage for you because in connecting with the level of energy that is coming through the lion's gate right now, it is most advantageous for you to release all blockages. And to do this, one must forgive. So in the process of forgiving yourself, forgiving the person that sits across your desk at work, forgiving your parents, forgiving your siblings, forgiving your relatives and your friends, forgiving everyone and everything. You open your heart chakra even more, allowing the love within you to resonate and breathe. In the breathing, remember, the deeper and the longer you are able to hold the breath, the more efficient you become in connecting with the energy from the lion's gate. The importance of the energy that's coming through now, I could not find the words. Hi, Sherry.
Hi.
Hello. Hello, sweetie.
Hi, how are
I,
you?
oh, I'm feeling the energy of the gate right now. And so we're just relaxing to the energy of the gate, allowing that stream of light frequency to come through and affect everything that's in our lives right now. So take a deep breath, putting your eyelids as close but not closed, directing your eyes upward towards the central focus between your eyebrows, placing the right hand on your chest in between the throat and heart chakra, and the left hand on the lower abdomen. And breathe. Now, I know that you can feel the energy that is pulsating through the right hand. What's taking place now is that that energy is pulsating from the right hand, flowing, streaming into your body, in through the palm of the left hand. So that heart energy, as you direct it, as it resonates throughout your entire frame, it's going from one point, from the point of the heart to the point of the lower abdomen. And take in another deep breath. And this we do to connect with that portal that we have been calling the Lion's Gate. Now we are so powerful as sovereign integrals. In connecting with this energy, we are in a stage now of ascension where the very words that come from our lips can create another reality and manifest other portals as well. So in acknowledging the energy coming from the portal known as the Lion's Gate, we are increasing the activation of our ascension. We are radiating to the point where we don't have to speak the words. It is a time now for us to watch our thoughts, because our thoughts will manifest whatever our hearts desire. So if you're holding a thought that is not for your highest good, release it. Use your cancellation techniques. Some people say cancel, cancel. Whatever it is that you say or do, now is the time to really do the work, which is in retraining your mind to think positively about everything that you do. Because at this point in time, whatever you think is going to come to your door and knock and say, were you thinking about me? Or something close to that. But in the essence of being able to pull that type of energy, since we've been misinformed and misguided and misdirected, it may take a bit of work to get us to the point where we can focus our minds and our hearts and manifest that which we really and truly desire. And breathe. And taking another deep breath, holding yourself in the light. This is important. Releasing through parted lips when it is your heart's desire. You may open your eyes and recognize your oneness. Ah. And so how are you enjoying the Lion's Gate energy, my dear? Cherry?
Yeah. Yeah, I some stuff I was working on, and it was a deadline, so I was able to wrap it up so that I could go do my grid. And
Okay.
yeah, and they said let your intuition guide you. There's no right or wrong, as long as your intention is pure, and you can use whatever symbols, crystals you want to. So I went with the ones that I thought resonate. I took the 4 elements. I utilized that, and it was interesting because as I was in the water, I heard today that that partial lunar was in Aquarius, which was interesting. So I was drawn to the water. But I used, they said this heavy Syrian energy coming in right now. So since that ties in with sacred geometry, I took like a Merkaba, crystal, pyramids, things that had geometry to it. Took my crystals. My daughter comes out. Here's some shells from the ocean. Put that in there. So I put that in there. Activated it. I could feel the energy. You're supposed to make it spiral up. For Gaia. And yeah, the wind whipped up, and I said, oh, everything was happy. It was really good energy, and I felt it, and I felt it coming from the ground. And that's what we're supposed to do, is connect.
Yeah.
And yeah, then my daughter and I got in the water, and I was just looking up at the stars, and it was wonderful. Really nice. But I have to say, though, that everything, I listened to something today about the, I don't know if this is what you're getting to, is there's going to be a lot of like polarization,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of extremes like coming forward, and that this is a release of, it's bringing up what needs to be purged from the lower chakras. And you were mentioning the pulsing and the vibrating, all that. Yeah, but I also am feeling a lot in my root.
Uh-huh.
And they said the root chakra, I guess, we're supposed to be working with it because it's releasing old, like all the old baggage and stuff. So I feel a lot of energy in that area. But it's, I see a lot of, how do I put it? Like, I don't feel to react to anything else, but I do notice, like, from a distance, like, I feel like sometimes I'm in one realm and sometimes I'm in another, like I'm looking at what's going on, but I'm not participating in it. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Right now, that's one of the reasons that I'm on right now. Hold on 1 second for me. Can you hear me? I'm having
Yes.
yeah, okay. Yeah, there's there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Oh my God. You have no idea. Well, yes, you do have an idea.
I was just going to say, I was going to mention that movie Detroit that's out or coming out.
The which movie is that?
The movie Detroit. It's all about the police brutality. What's going on in Detroit?
Ah,
It's a
okay.
movie that's, anyways, it's critics are raving about it, but I just thought I've been, because I've been like reflecting on what all's coming out in the media now. Not so much mainstream, because that's, that's propaganda stuff, but I mean like theater. And I just thought it's interesting that a lot of stuff that's coming up is bringing forward issues from that we need to deal with. What I'm getting as a collective society.
Well, that would be, oh, I don't like to go into politics, but that would be one of the reasons why we have the president that we have right now, is because, and I don't like to bring up politics on anything, but
Yeah, so let's just make it general. Just
yeah,
a lot of
yeah, a lot of,
walls are coming.
yes,
Say that.
a lot of things are needing to be released, flushed
Mm-hmm.
out, and so we've been going for quite some time without realizing how much we have been programmed. And for
Yeah.
a lot of people, the things that I talk about on the air and that you and I are aware of, for a lot of people, it's not a surprise. They're in denial because it's been. What was the last thing that I saw, and I was like, tell me about it. They have discovered a 1,500-year-old Bible in, I think, Turkey or Tehran,
Mm-hmm.
that goes into detail that Yeshua, known also as Jesus the Christ, was not crucified. And the Vatican is trying to get their hands on this Bible, and gee, I wonder why. And
Yeah.
and they claim to be surprised, but apparently it is an authentic Bible. The pages are made of leather. It's 1,500 years old. Um, but the Vatican are like up in arms, and people are, of course, there's those that are in denial, and there are those like, I told you so. And I'm like, I never felt it. I have Bibles. I have at least 10, maybe 15 different languages, whatever. Uh, but I never bought into the crucifixion
Mm-hmm.
theory. And so, of course, you know what that's probably done for my public image. But at this stage of the game, it's okay. Whatever you believe is fine. But more and more information is going to be coming out on these
Yes,
things.
that's what I'm telling my daughter about. I don't know if you caught it on, she's works with primates, the monkeys. And
Mhm.
so I was telling her today, did you catch that story on Yahoo? Came out today that two guys in Kenya discovered a 13 million year old skull. They've renamed a new species.
Mm.
It's like in the progression of, you know, like they're always looking for the missing link between the ape and the human. That whole, I've
Mhm.
got my theory on that, but I don't want to go into all that. But it was interesting though that she said that she heard that there were going to be species. Look at planets they're discovering. There's just so much that's coming forward now. But I just thought it was interesting that they actually named the species, and the name is, I guess, in Kenyan or whatever language they speak there. It means, what was that? I saw it today. It was, it escapes me right now. But anyways, it's something about like a link, like a new.
A missing link, or a link that wasn't missing. We just didn't
Yeah,
know
no,
about it.
it's like going in the progression, and they said that it's not anything that is ape-like, but it's not quite human.
Mhm.
So as there, I think my personal feeling is as this is going forward, there is going to be that where that is that scientifically, because there's just not, anything out there, but they're discovering stuff all the time. And I guess with the glaciers melting and, the earth shifting and all that, is a lot of stuff they said is being brought forward. Maybe that's part of it is, where I guess these archaeologists are going to, I mean, they're still digging in Egypt.
Oh my
There's
God.
all kinds of
We
stuff
could
coming
we could
forward.
we could do 2 hours on what's available in Egypt alone. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you and mentioning Egypt, a lot of people don't realize that the portal, the Lion's Gate, is connected to the halls of Amenti. We know what the halls of Amenti are, right? Okay.
Yes. There's
Yeah.
groups of people that are there right now
Yeah, I'm sure.
for that.
I'm sure. Um, oh my goodness. It's just what is important is to be able to observe what's going on. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to connect yourself with any particular group if you don't feel comfortable with that. The bottom line is, however, just keeping your eyes peeled on what's revealed, because you're going to hear and see some stuff that will absolutely positively amaze you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the you haven't been to Peru yet, right? I'm supposed to
No.
I'm supposed to be heading out that way sometime towards the end of the year. We shall see. But there's recognition there. There was, and I'm not sure. I'll bet it's the same species that was discovered in Kenya, but they discovered another species there with a different type of skull that had never been seen before. And like you, I've forgotten what the name of it is, but it's obvious
Yeah.
that it's a hybrid. We'll call it a hybrid. Okay. But it's, I mean, I'd rather be in a place where the truth is the only thing that exists. I can't, well, yeah, I suppose I could see people wanting not to know the truth completely, but that's just never been
Yeah,
my
that's just,
my thing.
Yeah, I think they were saying that part of it is, I think it's like you said, I think part of it is fear.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is, like you said, is programming. I just think people are, like people that have been on the job, like the same job for 30 years, very mechanical. As long as they get a paycheck, they're happy. It's complacency. I think people get in a routine. They don't want to confront things. So it's rather just, business as usual, as long as everything is kind of goes along, because it takes, like you said, it takes a lot of courage for people to confront things that, like belief systems and stuff that's been going on for generations.
I wanted to do a study on a particular group of, this is an ethnic or cultural study. I may still try and get it going, but I know what it's based upon. I have noticed people who retire, people who have, you've seen them, they are hard workers, 30, 40, 50 years back during the time when they used to give gold watches to people when they retired. And then
Oh,
suddenly, one day, hey, you don't have to come to work anymore. You are retired. The minute they retire, you could almost clock it. Some people, I would say approximately 3 years. It takes approximately 3 years. If they can't get into something else like a hobby or whatever, they're gone. And I noticed that because it started out with me noticing my dad. He got retired. No way. He found a way to always get himself into something else. So he lasted a bit longer, but I recognized it in people who you have to be able to have, they have to be able to have something to replace that day to day with. And if they can't replace it, they keep going, meaning they go into the next dimension. And that's okay as long as you are aware of, if you can hold, excuse me, if you can hold to a belief system that allows you to see that, okay, I'm about to I'm about to go off the grid, Sherry. That there is no heaven and there is no hell unless you make it for yourself. And I always thought, now that's an interesting concept. Unless you make it for yourself. They say that the master said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. What was he talking about? Okay. If you buy into the theory of this being a matrix, from what I understand and what I've read, that the sun, the same Lionsgate energy that we're feeling, or it's come, that portal, have you seen the second sun again? Or did you see it the
no,
first time? Okay. But it's up there. But that portal is, it's emanating a program that when we leave our bodies, we get as far as the light, and then we get turned back around and we come back here, reincarnation. But we don't have to come back here if we don't want to. The thing is to remember, once you leave the body, to keep going. No matter who's waving at you and telling you you got to come back, you got stuff to do, you have to keep going. Now, this concept, I have no problem with for some reason.
well, you know what? It's I don't know if you remember one of the first meetings we had with Wingmakers. I remember the material, and I think I mentioned that in the group meeting about, I heard that it's, or maybe it was Dolores Cannon, one of her books, she brought up that in New Earth, there's no more karma, reincarnation thing. And then when I did a past life, I remember someone telling me that it's not about the past anymore. It's what you're going to do now, which this eclipse, interestingly enough, I heard several theories why it's coming into Oregon and moving out in South Carolina. The one I heard today was interesting, is because Oregon is a very progressive area. So they're saying that it's that energy that's sweeping through and coming out in South Carolina, which has a history.
Mm.
So it's like progressive, which makes sense, but it's kind of like this sweeping away. So that's what I always heard, is that it's like this energy's coming through and we're clearing all the, there's no more about, that's what I heard is, you know, it's not like you're here to repay somebody that you screwed over in, you know, 3 generations ago or something like that. It's more about, we're all here to do a specific task now, and it's about what we're doing now. Is that your understanding? Or
Well, I can understand that. I can understand that. Think about it as you have observed the world. What percentage of the world do you think would accept that as now? We're talking about generations upon generations of people that have been taught, if you don't do such and such, you're going this way or you're going that way. People fear death because they've always been told that it's something to fear. They've always.
I'm going to tell you probably the 3 major religions right now, because that's the ones, that's what they're based on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so,
My understanding is the Buddhists don't believe in that.
Well, that's true. That's probably one of the reasons why I sort of lean towards Buddhism and spent the time that I did in the ashram, because to me it makes more sense. The Emerald Tablets also, within the Emerald Tablets, I'm sure you've seen it as you've read it. It gives you the directions on how to control when you come back, if you come back. There is a and I'm sure that the ritual is a ritual simply because at that stage of the game, that phase of human development, if it doesn't look like a ritual, some of us have a difficulty with processing it. You know, when you say ritual to most people, you can actually see their minds going into one direction or another. Either they're at ease or they're like, well, I wonder what, will I have to cut off a chicken's head or whatever? And so it's but it's the way we, right? As soon as you say the word, you can see people thinking, well, I don't have any candles. And it's like, who said anything about candles? But when I make up my own, to tell you the truth. I used to read about a lot of them. The Celtic ones are very interesting. So are the indigenous African. But bottom line, you are the ritual. You are the candle, the individual. We are the temple. We are the altar. Okay. And so whatever we believe, whatever we designate as a belief, follow that out. You were saying about doing your own grid. Follow that out, that feeling, the vibrations, because if you hold a crystal or a gemstone in your hand, you're going to feel the energy if you don't block it. People do block it. I know people that won't even touch crystals. They're afraid of the energy.
Or if they come in and see a grid, like, oh my God, kind of curse on someone or something.
There is a guy that does repair around my house, and yeah, I got stuff in the center of my table and out in the open. Listen, I live alone. I don't have to impress nobody. So if you got problems with what you see when you get in here, you know what? The doorway opens both ways.
Well, I'll tell you a story. In my room, I had some guests. We had out-of-town guests. Just give us a comforter and a sleeping bag, whatever. We'll sleep on the floor, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, they go in my meditation room. You know that the next day they told me that was one of the best night's sleep they had. And the energy in that room. Or is there something in here that's like, you know, guiding the energy, whatever it's, and I go into the whole crystals. Well, I have these grids, and you know, we're close to these ley lines and blah blah blah. But you know, it was just interesting. And this is somebody that doesn't know about it, didn't read about it, didn't even know what they were, just that they sensed some kind of peace in there. So
But
that just proved my theory. I think, like you said, it's, even if you don't even read up on it or do it, it's just everything is vibration. You naturally, like, you know, that if you walk into a place and you just immediately sense, I don't think I want to be here.
yeah, and that's,
Yeah, it's just,
yeah, that you're picking up the frequency of the vibrations, and it's letting you know that, hey, you don't have to be in here. This is not where you necessarily need to be. I could come up with so many stories of, oh my gosh, some people call it a gut feeling, because I've talked to people, oh, I'm not psychic, oh, I can't do that stuff, blah blah blah. And it's like, if you have a gut feeling about something, that's your intuition, that's your psychic ability trying to come through to let you know, well, okay, this is something that you really don't want to get into. So gut reaction, move it along. And
I,
everybody has it.
yeah, and also too, I'm getting a lot of like paying attention to the dreams, you know, the
Hmm.
journaling and stuff. And I'm having a hard time. Well, no, actually, I can't say hard time, because now it's starting to come more. I'm starting to remember more. There's actually exercises you can do to bring it forward more. I know you mentioned the water, but they also said too that you could set soft music to come on about in the morning. So it's not jolting you out of it. It's just something that's kind of putting you in that in between. And they
Mm.
said that then you'll be able to recall, to journal before you fall back asleep what you were coming, which I thought was interesting.
There is a technique. It's a deviation. Deviation, is that a good word? I know in the islands, it is not unheard of that when you want to, and this is kind of like more lucid dreaming, when you want to be in more of control of your dreams, you look for your feet. I didn't know if I've mentioned that on
Yeah, I
anywhere
think you did
before.
once.
You look for
Uh-huh.
you look for your feet. You just, try and find your feet. And when you find your feet, I mean, basically you're taking control of your dream state. And if you have on
Mm-hmm.
shoes in the islands, it's you're to observe whether the shoes are new or whether they're old. And usually, from what I remember, it means that you're getting ready to take a journey, but the shoes mean spiritual work. Um, Going barefoot in your dream, that's a real high level dream. You're in a, I would say, dimension. That's only what word I can think of using it. But you're definitely way out there. If you've got the shoes on, that means that there's something important that you need to pay attention to. I I remember having a dream where I was barefoot, but a whole I had all these shoes. I had pairs and pairs of shoes. Oh gosh. And I was doing a lot of energy shifting work at the time, much more than I'm doing now, I think. But okay, I remember now. It was when I first uh did my Reiki thing. That was like about 2008, because I remember complaining to my Reiki sensei that I was having all these dreams of shoes, and she said, that's because um you're downloading a lot of information, and you're doing a lot of work on that side, so just relax and keep an eye on your feet. So, but when you do that, you can follow yourself, observe yourself from one uh, level to the next, if you can get yourself to pay attention to your feet.
I had 2 nights ago, I think it was a couple of nights ago, I had I remember I was working with crystals, because I remember I had it in my hand. I remember how colorful they were and all that. And I remember waking up thinking, oh, I must have worked with some crystals somewhere in my dream last night, or it was from the past. Maybe I remembered working with them in the past. There weren't ones that I have right now. Remember, I was telling you about that Andara? It was more like those. There's a lot of controversy about those, like where the origin is, like you said, but there's also a lot of fraud going on. There's a lot of people selling glass, claiming that's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Getting a lot of money for it. So this is, remember you were saying about, you have to watch, to me, you have to watch who you're buying stuff from.
Yeah, you do. It's unfortunate, but it's not, you know, that in this culture specifically, or shall I say, the capitalistic concept is what I forget how you say it in Latin. I used to know how you say it in Latin. Buyer beware. And so there are a lot of people who look at people that they call new age people, and I've never really adapted to that moniker, but they look at people who follow spirituality openly as being, I'm not even going to say it, but they're easy to take advantage of is a good phrase. Let's say that. And so they put, you know, to them it's like the grocery store that will sell you whatever, imitation whatever, and tell you that it's real steak or whatever. They don't see the difference. They don't, they're not at the point where they would feel that, hey, I'm doing something wrong to somebody just to make money off of them. That's not a good thing, because in the capitalist mindset, there really isn't that much wrong that you can do to make money. And not from what I can see. It's kind of like whatever you can do if you don't get caught. I don't know. Other cultures, other cultures are like, they may have it, but that is more than likely because of their interaction with the capitalistic viewpoint. Because I've met people from cultures all over the world that, well, hey, you can have this. And I look at them like, oh my God, but this is, no, you take this. This is, and then, and capitalistic countries too. I'm speaking of America and Canada. You can get people that are just giving from the heart, but then you're going to have the people that, greed is already in there. They don't know anything about anything spiritual, and they could care less. And if they can get you to pay for it, they're more than happy to take the money. So that's what you have to, when you go to get anything that's spiritual, not just crystals or gemstones, you should pick it up first, touch it,
I was just gonna say,
get your vibrations from it.
And yep.
Get your vibrations, and if the vibrations are not clicking, just back away and keep going. Yeah.
Well, I think with, like you said, now because people are in touch on the internet so much, is that I think people would rather try and get them online, and that's the problem. Is like you said, I want to walk in, I want to hold it. The ones that I meant to get, I'm going to get. I only did it one time online, bought one, and I will never do it again.
No.
You just can't, like you said, you can't sense the energy, and it has to, talk to you.
Well, now they teach you in Reiki remote reception and remote direction. I didn't know. You said that you took first level Reiki, right?
I've been 3 levels of crystal Reiki, not the traditional like.
Okay. Well, in the traditional, it's been a while since I have seen other Usui teachers teach, but I was taught very traditional. And You get photographs to put the symbols in to send the light energy, but you don't even really, you don't need the photographs. You don't need the name. You don't need the address. You don't need any of that stuff. It is your intention. Once you bring up the vortex of light, where the energy, where you blend the energy and not blend, but direct the energy, you don't need anything of the person. You
Isn't that,
just
yeah, and isn't
place
that
your, yeah.
the same thing as a prayer circle at church? We're all going to say a prayer for so and so.
Yeah,
Like you said, it's the intention,
it's
right?
the intention. It is
Yeah.
the intention. You don't need the name. You don't need the condition. You don't need anything. Your intention is to send to the loved one of whoever. And
Mm-hmm.
in that respect, you don't need anybody's name. You can send it to the entire planet, to every single soul. Once you say every single soul that's on the planet, that means you're doing the good guys as well as the not so good guys. Bottom line, it won't hurt anybody. It's because your intention is to send it with love, and love is the, I mean, it is what has opened the lion's gate. Love is what opens our heart. Um, I got, I received something on Facebook, I think it was today, where they talk about scientists have discovered that there is a separate aura around the heart. And I'm like, oh my God, it took you guys long enough to get to the point. Because when I give meditations, I have been saying for the longest, heart chakras, because
Mm-hmm.
there's more than one heart chakra. And so, oh gosh, I will send this to you. But it shows the the vibration, the frequency of the heart. So when you're in a space where you're sending love to someone, it's coming from more than just one space in your being, in your light body. And so you're assisting that individual to heal, if that's what they will accept, in their light body. And so that that becomes wow, it becomes a major, it's like the energy that's used to co-create another universe or another portal. It is a fantastic feeling. There's nothing like it, except maybe tantric energy, and I will not discuss that right now. Oh,
I've heard about
I've been asked, yeah, I've been asked to do a class on that.
really.
I have to, yeah, I have to, yeah.
I wish you weren't so far.
It's all in your mind. I'm not that far. I'm right around the corner.
No, but I mean, if I wanted to go up, well, yeah, that's true too. I mean, if you can always make the effort and stuff. It's just, yeah, I'll get up there one of these days. You know where I'm sitting at? I'm sitting here, and like part of me is wants to go to Siesta Key.
When are you planning on doing that?
Well, I wanted to do it this weekend, but I don't know if it's going to work out this weekend because my problem is a vehicle. There's three of us sharing two vehicles, so that's the problem. But honest to God, one of these days I am just going to hop in that car. I'm going to go there and I'm going to stay overnight and I'm going to come back and I'm going to sit on that beach. Moon would be really nice, but I was thinking, I don't think because I'm leaving the 24th, leaving the country. I don't think I can make it for the eclipse. But and also their hotels are sold out. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be over there during that. But I was thinking the equinox would be a good one too.
Okay.
Because they have a drum circle, full moon drum circle. I know that, and they also do it on every Sunday.
And who is
like
this?
tons of people come out.
Where is this? Oh, okay.
Sarasota, yeah, on that one that has it's all quartz. The
Oh.
beach, that one.
Ah, yes. Oh, let me know when you're going for the all quartz, because I would love to go.
Would you?
I would
Yeah.
love
Would
to
you
go.
want to stay overnight? Like split a room or something?
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, because it's gonna. What I do is I'd come up, pick you up, and then I'd have to shoot across over to Sarasota.
That sounds very, very doable. Okay.
Yeah, I'll
That
keep my
sounds
eyes.
like a
I'm
plan.
on their mailing list, so I'm keeping their eyes peeled because I know they do a lot of goddess stuff too, like a lot of feminine healing circle and things like that. So if there's anything, I know some of their workshops, weekend workshops, they're all sold out. I mean, they're all filled up now until 2018. So if I see anything that's interesting that's going on, but I do know on Sundays they do the drum.
Okay, now
The drumming.
is this the because I had an article published by the the N5D. Is this the N5D people?
I've never heard of that N5D.
N5D stands for In Fifth Dimension. They have a newsletter online. They're very popular. I had to tell you
Are
the
they in
truth.
that area?
Hear you. You broke up.
Oh, I said, are they in that area?
They're in that area, yeah. So I was curious.
Maybe it's a very, very spiritual community over there. I didn't know until a friend of mine that came from Sedona says you have to go on their website. Out, it's the Star City or Star something like that.
That is them. Oh, that's them.
So there's that beach.
Oh my gosh.
Minnesota, yeah, they have a giant like drumming circle every Sunday. I do suspect that a lot of people are going to be there for the equinox. I think because there's some portal or something. If you look on the map, it comes out from the Keys, and there's an area that stretches right off to the left. And okay. They think that that's why that beach has got all that crushed quartz.
Well, if you remember that Florida is a part of the Bermuda Triangle, I'm looking for that to be the next disclosure to come out. But those, I know a couple of people that know that these are, I knew a pilot that he's kind of disappeared now, that they're aware of, from Florida to, let's see, the edge of Bimini. Is the Bermuda Triangle. And so sacred geometry is important in that the shapes of the different dimensions and portals. When you say dimensions and portals, people think you're talking circular. They're not always circular. There's anomalies, and then there's, oh my gosh, what's the other word? It stands basically for like a wave of energy that leads into another reality. There's a lot of stuff going on, and that's one of the reasons why this was one of the most important Lionsgate openings, and all of this, everything that's coming out right now, it's just, it is time. There is a shift. The shift I'm hoping for will just dissipate the matrix altogether, which would allow everybody to wake up at one time, but then everybody will still not want to wake up. There will always be somebody who feels more comfortable with not knowing.
I always go back to the Bible. I mean, there was miracles performed right in front of them, and still there was skeptic. You know what I mean? It's like there's always going to be some that no matter what you're going to throw at them, they're stuck in their own belief system or whatever. I think, like you said.
Yeah. No. It's the fear of not having and not knowing and not realizing that fear comes not from not having. It's just the information that they've been given, that we've all been given, is in error, and we don't We don't want to. It's easier not to. It's just easy. I knew someone who would not quit their job, even though they hated it, and where they worked, they weren't it's specifically loved, but they could do the job, so they were there. And it was like, all you got to do is step out and find another job, or you're talented, you can work for yourself. And they were afraid of losing that paycheck to the point where
Mm-hmm.
they rather have someone signing for them than it's to work from their own, use their own talents, their own abilities. This was a very, very talented individual that was basically selling themselves because they weren't being paid what the value of what they could do was. Um, but it felt more comfortable to them to be able to have somebody else give them the money for work that they could have done on their own. So it's, you think of people like Bill Gates, who he just went out there and decided, hey, I know what to do, I'm going to do it. And so he built what he built. It takes a lot of guts, I think sometimes, but that's only because we've been so brainwashed.
Yeah.
All right, my dear. I
Oh, yeah. Before you go, I was just going to say though that there I do agree with that indigenous though, because I've also been told that the shamans to pay a little bit more attention.
yes,
Went
they
on
do.
and through with the shamans and also the indigenous, like Australia.
Mm.
I went and saw an art exhibit done by some Aborigine, I guess, a tribe or whatever, that was just, it made me just stop and think, like I was watching it. Um, but the energy in Australia is so overwhelmingly, I know when I was in Bali, I would say probably 90% of those people were from there, but they're all into this. Um, it's even with, if you go online and look at a lot of the people that are coming out now that are doing light language workshops, all kinds of, are from that area.
The they call them Aborigine. However, uh, did you hear about you know about Dreamtime, right?
Mm, no, what is?
Dreamtime is the original inhabitants of Australia have what they call Dreamtime. I'm not sure if they were contacted by the Syrians or not, but I'll never forget
Mm-hmm.
this movie. Richard Chamberlain was in it, where he lived in Australia and encountered uh, a shaman who was directing him on how to handle the dream time. And the dream time is they have it on the cave drawings. Have cave drawings there of the, you can call them extraterrestrial, whatever you want to say, but people from another reality and people from other dimensions or people from off world, but uh, they have a connection with being able to go in and out of the different realities, and they have an entire concept of managing time that I'd say it's on the level of Castaneda. Uh, extremely, extremely. I mean, I had I read the book back, what was it, in the 70s or whatever. Uh, but archaeologists and anthropologists have come to a couple of at different plateaus with trying to study uh, that area, because there is so much information that's unexplainable. But and they're basically they're becoming more westernized. But if you can speak to someone there who isn't, or speak to more of the elders, let's say, they can give you some really fantastic instruction on lucid dreaming and traveling during time travel, which is something that we can do naturally once we get our Merkaba in motion. or get it sort of like aligned with the rest of us. And that in itself is something that we all should be working on. It's powerful.
Yeah, because as a lot of work is being done with a lot of us, you know, in our dream state, is they want to get us to that point where, and that's where they said the shamans are able to do that, where you can go in. There's almost like, I don't want to say in and out. It's almost like they merge together so that, you know what I mean? You can like exist dimensions without like it's really, I don't know how to explain it.
No, I know exactly. Like, I know what you're talking about, but it's difficult to explain.
You know, in this left brain, you know, like trying to make logic of everything, overthink stuff and live third dimensionally, and yet I think people, if they would just like open themselves up and feel instead of trying to analyze everything. They're searching. They said that searching, you'll be searching forever, is just to feel and not a tremendous amount too. But I always keep an open mind. I'm like, okay, this is one point, but I'm not really like looking for an answer. Just like getting information, but I'm more in the experience. Something that, you know what I mean, than answers. I'm doing it for the like they said, you know, it's in the heart, feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote one down, a quote that she said, you know, we're all moving to higher vibration. It's just asking yourself, does it feel right? If it feels right, go with it. If it doesn't, don't. All the time. You know, if somebody says something, does something, and you don't feel good, you don't feel comfortable in the situation, get out of it.
You know,
why would you? I mean, people, like you said, they're afraid, but why would you want to go into a place every single day where you couldn't stand your coworkers and energy was so negative?
Well, if you've made yourself used to it and you've accepted it, it's like being in a relationship where somebody's abusing somebody, and it comes down to it. Do you love yourself enough to put up with whatever it is you think you're putting up with? People, for a check, people will put up with a lot of stuff day to day. It's not, you know, we're in a capitalistic society or culture where we're trained, and people don't realize that we're trained to, oh gosh, people get so upset when I say that. We're trained to keep people that don't work living nicely. It's a system basically of slavery. Um, I'll never forget.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, oh gosh, long time ago, in high school, I had a teacher who once said, uh, "Watch this country. You think you have a middle class, but you really don't, because if push comes to shove, the upper class will remove the middle class because they're not making any money off of them. They're making money off the lower class or poor class." So, and yeah,
I heard polarization. Yeah, you see it more like,
right.
That's gonna end.
I will be so glad when it does. But you know, we're already
I'm really positive. I see a lot of events now that I just, like I said, I'm just observing. But
yeah,
I know a lot of people like, oh my God, you know, I'm gonna lose my health care and this and that, and I'm like, don't buy into all of that. Just but I feel confident. Yes, humanity. I want to say, I look around, but I see stories all the time about going in. I'm really more excited about young people.
yeah. Well,
These diamond and crystal children, these kids that are
And
meditating and holding
it
crystals and the
right.
light. I just,
I'm glad to be able to see that because whatever light
yes.
I can direct them with, I'm more than happy to be of service. I have not given up on the
Mm-hmm.
older generation. I can't. I'm from the older generation, but I'm I'm glad that I'm one of those who, hey, can see it um, and know it for what it is. Basically, the third dimension is gone unless you hold on to it. And so I would like to be able to live in at least fifth dimension completely at this point. But at, for now, you go back and forth. Like you were saying before, you feel sometimes that you're going back and forth. So do I. And I think that a lot of people that have reached the information highway, I didn't know what else to call it, the information level that we have, are sensing or feeling the going back and forth. There's more and more instances of people seeing spirits and seeing entities and getting information and so forth because the third is fading away. And as soon as if everybody decided to let go of the third dimension right this second, that would be it. No bombs, no war is necessary. We would just be in the heart. And this is one of the messages that I was bringing out or showing out this evening is being in the heart. Okay, and
Mm,
I understand and supposed to be more of that, but that is why I did the ritual with the Lion's Gate Day and so on and so forth. Um, Mercury is going into retrograde on the 12th, which is a few days from now, and
oops.
I know people that are actually uh, putting themselves in panic mode because Mercury in retrograde is coming, and it's like, no, no, no. You take that energy, you go into meditation because it's another
Mm,
uh, source of energy. It's another portal that's opening, and the planet itself is not going backwards. It's just slowed down, giving you the opportunity to slow down and taking advantage of the power that's coming through that particular gate. You can, if you can slow yourself down, you can actually put yourself above 3D. You can take yourself into fight because most people in this culture, we're like speed racer. We don't know how to slow down. And so Mercury in
mhm,
retrograde is symbolic. Slow yourself down. Take things easier. People complain about the technology, computer goes, blitz, blah, blah, blah. Okay, think about what you're doing when you're freaking out over your computer not working right. Usually you're stressing out yourself and stressing out the computer. And so slow down. Okay, just slow down a little bit. Mercury in retrograde is nothing to be afraid of unless you just afraid. And so you put that energy, that emotion out. And as I started out this evening's program, if you put yourself in the position of being fearful with the ability that we have as sovereign integrals, as being infinite beings, thinking a thought and watching it materialize in front of our eyes. You've got Mercury that is slowed down enough for you to utilize its power, and you're already powerful enough to take and make something materialize without even speaking it, just thinking it. What is wrong with you? You actually think something is not going to happen if you hold a negative thought? Come on now. Hold a positive thought or try to
mhm,
as much as possible because You're in never land at that point. You're powerful. The energies around you are powerful, and you're thinking negative thoughts. What are you trying to do to yourself? What? What do you really want to happen to yourself? Nothing will escape that energy. So if you want positive outcome, you must hold positive thoughts. And I'm not trying to make positivity religion. I heard that the other day, and I'm like, yeah, well, I can see that. However, because I acknowledge that there's stuff going on. There's entities that I don't allow in my space. I cut cords constantly, and yeah, there's things that you need to be aware of. You hear me talking about buyer beware and stuff like, because there are people that look at people who say that they're readers or psychics and say, oh, I can make some money off of that one. And so I know that they're out there. I know I have to travel by my feelings about certain things.
Yeah.
And so I know that. And by
Mm-hmm.
the same token, I know that if I don't accept, oh, this is going to happen to me. If I don't accept that, it's not going to happen, because I'm using my power to keep that energy away from me. But if I can't look in the mirror and find something good about myself to say, I can forget it. So, and you can make yourself nervous. I am not perfect. I can stress myself out just as fast as the next person. But you gotta work on it to keep it humming. To keep it humming. So, um, the City of Light, Sarasota, that is the same organization that printed my article. Wow, that is a coincidence. So definitely, and I was planning on going over there to just check them out, because they've got a lot of stuff going on over there. So that's on the
Yeah,
calendar.
they like I looked into, they have these like weekend retreats or 3-day retreats or something. I was thinking about checking into it, and they do like all kinds of things, and plant medicine, which is another one. Well, speaking of that, you want to talk about synchronicities? My daughter and I go and have tea, and she goes, Mom, we're in the Gables. You want to duck in? I love this herbal tea place.
Oh,
Okay, so I come in. Yeah, come in. So what's laying in front of me? It was this little. So I pick it up. I get home, and it's a Native American couple or retreat. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday in February, and it's in Lake Wales, 20 minutes from where my sister lives. So I'm thinking, okay, because the day that I went up to Wingmakers, the first meeting, I was supposed to go to camping in Ocala with my daughter, and the same thing. It was a Native American group that was teaching about herbal medicine and all kinds of stuff, and doing fire circle and blah blah blah. And I didn't go. I didn't go on the camping trip. So I told myself, one of these days I'm going to go to some Native American where they actually get out and teach you all about herbs and oils and all from nature. And what happens, I grab the card, and they're doing this retreat in February. So I'm like, I'm there. Isn't that something?
no,
And it just a chance thing that she goes, let's just duck in here and get tea. Would have never known about that thing.
there's no coincidences.
So
None
I'm meant to go.
whatsoever. Yeah, you're meant to go. So I am going
Yeah,
to
because I was
mm.
just going to say, I love the Native American. They're so connected to the earth.
Well, that's one of the groups that has not forgotten. That has not, though they have been tried, poor darlings. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few of us have been tried, but that's okay. We're still hanging in there. We're
Yeah,
still, right? Is that
right.
my spaceship is coming? Is that my right? That's that's one of my jokes. Okay, so on that note, I am going to sign off.
Okay.
Um, Next week or the week after, I had a someone in particular that I think I spoke to you. She knows about the light language.
Mm-hmm.
but she's not coming on this Monday. It's probably going to be the Monday after. Yeah. So, um, got to get you guys with the light language thing going on Mondays. But it
That
depends
would
on
be
what.
nice because that's the day before the eclipse.
Mm,
It's a Tuesday, that
okay.
Tuesday. So yeah, that would be great. But um, yeah, I'll just let you know I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave the country August 24th. That's another thing. I'm taking the. Oh, this is what I was gonna ask you. I'm taking the crystals with me
Mm-hmm.
so I can continue because I've been told to go to certain, certain places, place them, blah blah. Um, on your, they said that quartz is like clear quartz is amplifiers. If you have in a grid a double pointed rose quartz,
Oh.
will that amplify the energy as well
Oh yeah.
for the heart?
If
Okay,
if you can
good.
if you
That's
can get a double pointed quartz, you're in you're in nirvana.
good.
Because yeah, yes. Most let's see, most of the quartz crystals I've come across have been single point, but double point is highly treasured. The I think I told you about this particular quartz that I had a few years ago. I used to use in my Reiki circles. It was a double point. This thing would generate. You could feel it. You could see it
Mm,
vibrating. You could see it. And when I purchased it, I had to put it in layaway because it was kind of big. But I when I was holding it in my hand, the people around me was like, "Oh my God, can you see that? That's vibrating." And so it wasn't just me, it was anybody that held it. It was ready to go do its job. It was ready to get
mm-hmm.
it was ready to get the job done. It was like, hey, one of you guys, I'm here to help with healing. One of you guys, I don't care who, pick me up, take me out. It's time to work. And so I kept it for at least 3 years before it finished its job and asked to go back home. And so I had to let it go back home. But it was a double point. Double points, it's like, oh my God. If you can get a double point, lie down and just put it on your heart and just allow yourself to relax. And it will do some amazing work for you on your on the frequencies of your vibrations, opening up your chakras. Just I need to start looking for another pink quartz myself. If I could find a double point, oh my God. I don't think I have any double points right now.
My daughter bought it, yeah, and she gave it to me, and I'm
Oh,
like, "Are you sure?" She says, I want you to have it, whatever. So I put it out. I had all my stones out for the full moon and partial lunar eclipse. I mean, it was like you couldn't get any better than that. The other
yeah,
night, it was a clear night. Yeah, so I'm peeking out the window like 1 a.m. Just I wanted to make sure the moon was hitting it. I put mine in my yard so I know exactly where, because we cleared some trees. It was just glowing. I mean, it got good energy. So these
okay. Now, I
really will.
I hate to mention this, but you weren't at the you weren't at the lecture that Dr. Ayala gave on the moon. You know the moon is not real, right?
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that.
No, no. The thing is that the people that are up there are sending out different vibrations and frequencies of things. So it doesn't mean that the energies that are coming down are not coming. That there's definitely energy being sent from there, but it's not an astronomical phenomena. This moon. Uh, I don't know. You got quiet.
Yeah, because I don't know.
I'm good with it.
I'll let that soak in. What is the basis? He was told that. Like, what did he say that his information comes from?
Um, a lot of research. He talked about you remember the plane that disappeared? uh, over in the Pacific.
The MH270?
Yeah, there
Uh-huh.
were 5 scientists on that plane that were taken to the moon from the intel that he presented to us at the lecture. I think it was the last lecture he gave over at the center too. But I talked to him about it since then because I had read a few things before then that about the moon, and I was curious, and so I started asking him, and he goes, "Wait until my next lecture, and we'll go into what's going on with the moon." Apparently, there are 5 families that have colonies up there, and it's
I've
been
heard the
colon.
same thing about Mars.
Yeah, well, it's probably the same 5 families, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't have a challenge with the Mars thing. I had not read the book by Eisenhower's granddaughter, who said that
Yeah, he's good.
she visited the colony on Mars, and
Yeah,
so
they tried to.
mm, I know.
She said.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that there's no energy coming from there. Just that.
Yeah, because that goes back even Native Americans. That whole thing with full moon and the circles. There's definitely something there. I mean, the goddess. The all the pagan stuff. Those rituals all came from feminine energy.
But now, if you look at it one way, you're trying to maintain a certain amount of mind control on people. Uh, you're going to send out a certain amount of vibration frequencies, okay, to kind of like, you know, get them to recognize the waning and the waxing of the moon. And people, it was always like, to me, oh, you cut your fingernails or your hair, uh, whether it's what new moon so that it grows or whatever, and that's Celtic, I think, as well as indigenous. And so
Mm-hmm.
and so, but just like the theory of the matrix being in existence, that well, I feel that that's pretty much the case from what I've observed. If I hadn't seen those 2 suns, I would have said, well, maybe, but I do a good deal of sun gazing, so I'm good with that. And if you consider the fact that we've been brainwashed and programmed and it would not be out of the realm of logic to have some sort of rece- transmitter that would transmit certain frequencies that would get people into certain behavior patterns that you can count on those patterns taking place, because then that would allow you to control them more. This is how I'm looking at it. My brother calls me Mr. Spock, so does don't pay
So
me any
yeah,
attention.
so though that work with crystals, then are you saying that they shouldn't be giving it moon
Well,
energy along with?
they're not every crystal. Uh, not every crystal uses moon energy. I know amethyst prefers the moon to the sun. Um,
Yeah, there's a lot of
selenites,
them.
yeah. Some, let's see, selenites. You know about selenites in water, and they're
Yeah,
probably big. I believe that selenite is also uh, a moon baby. But like a quartz crystal, I would leave out in the sun
yeah. I always
anytime.
do my quartz in the sun, but yeah, I like
Yeah,
the energy from that. But the more sensitive stones, I guess.
yeah. They can't take the
Yeah, I
full
tend to
blown
put it.
sun.
Yeah, that can't take the energy of the sun. It changes them, and I've had like, and I think it's Angelite. It's a blue one, and it almost cracked on me.
Mm,
It's just you have to be careful, as some of them are. So that's why the ones that are more sensitive, I tend to put them out in the moon. The selenite I never put outside. I've also heard that you can charge other stones on selenite. Like I've
yeah.
laid on selenite, and that's charged them as well, or amethyst.
I have, it's the last few days I had been leaving my selenite outdoors because I sleep with it half the time, most of the time. And I use it in the healing wands. And I know that it's one of those self-generating stones. So
Yes. Do you
yeah,
put it out in the sun, or you just
I put it
put it
out in the
outside?
sun.
Like,
I put it out. There's two trees that um, have agreed to house the stones for me. And these are trees that, well, one is a stump, but the other one has given me a name. And so I go out and I ask, is it okay for me to put the stones out today? And I usually get a nice warm vibration from the tree. And so I don't just go here or stick it out there. I ask permission. And so if I get the call to put them out, like sometimes I'll hear them or feel that they want to go out and be charged. And so I'll okay. And then sometimes they go out without me, like my shaman balls, my mookie balls. If I don't
yeah,
put
you've
them
never
out,
charged yours in the.
the mookie
So
balls I've never charged in the moon. Mookie balls seem apparently to like the sun, because I've had a couple of them that just disappeared out of my bed and go. I'm serious. Disappeared out of the bed and it went out, and and I happened to be walking around in the yard, and I'm like, so that's where you are. And it's like, they're happy. They're like settled into the dirt and everything. They're fossils uh, with hematite
So you,
centers.
yeah. So if we put them on the full moon like that, are you saying that the energy that they're drawing in is not, um, I guess, not what we're led to believe, or it's
Mm,
being?
and I'm not saying to not put them outdoors because there's so much energy that's out during the night that they can benefit from. But simply get to the point, Sharon. Talk to the stones before you put them outside. If you don't do that already, I think you probably do that. But talk to them and explain to them why. If you don't have to say it out loud, you can say it from within and let them know that they're out there. And to tell you the truth, they can take care of themselves. So I wouldn't even worry about them. If you want to put them out anytime you want to, they are alive. If they were
Yeah.
if they were in any danger, trust me, they would move themselves.
Yeah, and also too that sometimes, you know how it rains a little bit, not, and I don't put ones out there that I know is going to damage, but actually the rain though helps, I think. Like once
Yes,
in a while, if you get a little bit, and then you've got, the sun or the moon, and then that water, that
it,
rain, it's
it helps to
they're just,
cleanse.
yeah, they clear them, and they just seem so like vibrant. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I'm still taking in about the moon. I'll have to check that out. That's the first I heard of that.
You didn't hear that? You didn't hear
I
about that?
heard you guys like made that comment one other time in one of the Wingmakers meetings, I think, but I've never, like, in all that I've read or my research or what, I've never heard that.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
There's
I've heard,
five
like I said, about,
colonies. There's five colonies. What made me bring up the subject was
but not that it was a satellite, giant satellite, though.
yes, that's what it is. But what made me curious from the time whoever walked on the moon, was it Buzz Aldrin? Okay. Um, and I'm really this movie Hidden Figures.
Yes.
I really want to know why they disclosed that now. I got a feeling it's because they're trying to keep people away from finding out that that's a satellite. But anyway, um, when they planted the flag, when they planted the flag, if you got any old videos, she's waving, the flag is waving, right? On the moon.
Uh-huh.
And so I've always been one of those. You tell me there's no gravity, you got to wear shoes to keep the. Why is the flag moving if there's no gravity? And that has always been like somewhere in the back of my head. Why? What? And so as soon as I could get my hands on Dr. A, I said, "Look, I've always wanted to know this. You got to tell me. You got info. Why was the flag moving uh, on the moon? It shouldn't have been moving." And first he goes, "Well, there is a little gravity up there." And I said, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, how in the heck is there a little gravity up there?" And he goes, "That's because it's." And I said, "Oh, you got to talk. You got to take. No, 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 not at this lecture. The next lecture I do, you got to come." And so I said, "You got it. I'm going to be here." And of
Where's
course,
that one?
you know how I harass poor Dr. Ayala. I miss him so much. But
Yeah, we had some interesting
yeah,
conversations. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. And so he went into it. He had films of I can't remember the name of the corporation. It's 5 generation family run, and they are responsible for building the structures that house the different colonies that are on the moon. There are
Mhm.
5 of them. One is Chinese, uh, one is German, one is American. I don't remember what the other 2 are.
What are they
Um,
doing up there?
huh?
And what are they
Oh,
doing up there? I mean, those,
they're having fun. He showed he showed whoa, he got some of his information is from whistleblowers. Uh, but he showed some of the structures that were built up there by the same company, and he said that that company would have been responsible for taking that plane out of the air because they wanted the 5 men that were on it, and that somebody, when the plane landed, they were all put in a silo. Somebody managed to get a phone call through to their family to
yeah.
tell, yeah, okay. And so nobody knows what happened to the rest of them. He said that in that a case like that, when these people want you, they'll offer you $1 million a year, but you got to live up there. And so he had so much intel on that. It was really, and I'm sitting there, and it's like I'm not. He did not surprise me with anything. I always felt it. Please, I can remember back to when you remember the cartoon Dick Tracy. You you're,
No.
you're you're much younger than I am. There used to be a cartoon called Dick Tracy in the funny papers on Sundays. My mom, I used to drive her crazy, so she taught me how to read when I was about before I went to school, and so
Mm-hmm.
because she got tired of reading the comics to me, and so well, that's a good way to get somebody to read. Anyway, Dick Tracy had a son. I don't remember what the son's name was, but during that time period, this would have been the 50s, when the moon race was on, uh, or gaining momentum. And the Dick Tracy character had connections on the moon. His son met a female that was born and raised on the moon. Moonchild, I think was her name. I'm not quite sure of her name, but
Uh-huh.
this was like commonplace. It's in the comics. So Dick Tracy's son is married to a moon maiden or whatever her name. They have a kid. There's a whole colony on the moon, and all of a sudden, the comic strip itself disappeared. And
Hmm.
so yeah. And so I was like, oh, what they do with Dick Tracy. But I think at the time, whoever was doing it, was doing a little disclosure of his own, and probably got caught, and it was like, no, 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 not yet. No, you're giving out too much info. And so I don't know. That's my theory. Who knows why it was pulled? I never tried to track it down because I'm like, I never had a problem with there might be a population on the moon. That doesn't bother me. I forget how many, there's a few thousand up there. Not a lot, but representative of 5 different countries. So, and there was this comment that was made by that same astronaut, uh, and he was asked about it and never gave any further commentary. And then he passed not too long ago. But
Mm-hmm.
he was asked by reporters. Uh, he said something about, "Wow, do you believe this?" And he was looking at something on the moon, and I know the information that we were watching that night, that something was said to have been like statues in a city that he saw. He was asked countless times, what was it that you actually saw that made you make that comment? I forget the full comment, and
Uh-huh.
he would never repeat it. And so, of course, it's been speculated that he saw this and he saw that, and nobody going to say, not yet, but the time is coming, I think, when something's going to have to give. Somebody's going to have to speak up.
Yeah, it will.
So
Time.
I've taken you down the rabbit hole.
No, no, it's interesting though. Speaking of, do you still go to the Wingmakers? Are they still doing the
They're still
meetings every
doing
2 weeks?
they're still doing the week uh they're still doing the meetings. I haven't been able to go for the last couple of meetings though.
Yeah, but I've totally lost because Robert texted me the other day and he's like, we should get together and when you kind of be in the area and all that. And I knew he wasn't feeling well. And I said, when you feel better and I got some time, I'll come up and just hang out.
Yeah.
Um, him just to catch up and talk. But yeah, I'll probably head up. It'll be after I come back from out of the country. But um, yeah, I definitely want to get up there. So I'll give him a quick call and find out like where they're at, like where they're at and what, how many's still
Yeah.
in the group. When I left, there was like three or four or five maybe that showed up. It was dwindling down.
There if you include me, there's 7 of us.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah. So I hadn't been able, like I said, to go the last couple of meets. So it's been 6, I guess. But I'm sure that there'll be some new blood coming up as the equinox goes round. Is just observe. There's a lot of things are opening up. A lot of portals are opening up. Just keep alert to what's going on. You'll be amazed.
well, now you got
And
me
so,
leery about going up and looking at the moon.
oh no,
They're spying at me.
well, it's not that they're spying, but whatever
No, not spying.
they're
That's why I was
doing.
just lightheartedly.
Yeah.
What are they doing up? Maybe they're doing
Well,
research, like you said. Probably somebody's paying them bukudos.
yeah, well, research and there's a lot of technology that we're unaware of. There's something, I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you ever heard of the Black Knight. Have you ever heard of the Black Knight?
No.
It They think it's a satellite. Tesla uh eyed it at the end of the 1800s or beginning of the 1900s. Tesla spotted it. It looks like a stealth bomber, and it's all black. They don't know if it's a satellite or not, but it revolves around the Earth in a reverse uh, direction. Like the Earth turns uh, clockwise, and this thing travels counterclockwise.
Okay,
And
gotcha. Uh-huh.
it has been up there for a long, long time. what busted them was that somebody got a hold of another whistleblower of videos that NASA had of the thing, turned around and sold it to Pepsi Cola, who made a commercial of it. Friend of mine who claimed to be on the Intergalactic Federation committee or board or whatever they're calling themselves. I know it. No, at least, well, I can't count him anymore because he's not here anymore. But I know of at least one person who claims to be on the committee. The committee exists. I know that. But or the board or whatever, intergalactic. But
Mm-hmm.
this gentleman sent me this commercial, which since I don't have a television set because I don't want one, people have a tendency to send me all kinds of things online and on my phone. You got to see this. You got to see this, because they know that I don't want to see nothing. But and I'm like in the music for the commercial, which is like what 6 or 7 minutes. It's like it's almost like a novella, a mini movie where they showed this couple, and it reminded me of you remember the commercial that was it Coca-Cola that did I like to see the I'd like to I'd like to give something the world to sing in perfect harmony, something
Yeah, yeah.
ages ago. Okay, so it was that type of a format where all of a sudden people
Mm-hmm.
are able to see this particular whatever it is, craft, spacecraft, aircraft, whatever it is. And so the world is coming out. They can see it. Everybody can see it in this mini commercial. And
Mm.
there's a popular. I don't know if it's even still played. I don't know if you can get it off of YouTube anymore. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. He sent this to me, and but it's called The Black Knight. I'm sure if you go on YouTube, you can find it if they haven't pulled it. Because I had sent it to my brother who lives in Texas, and to a couple of other people that I knew would be interested in it. R. Kelly, I think, is who did the song for it. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So they're and Dr. Ayala had said something the last interview I did with him when we discussed frequencies of energy. He said that it was uh, frequency generators that are being used that are keeping us from seeing the flotilla that surrounds the planet right now. He was saying that there are hundreds of spaceships surrounding the planet, and that yes, there are already extraterrestrials on the ground that we can't see because of these frequency generators, and that if somebody connected one powerful enough, it would have to be connected to like a pyramid in Cheops,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a generator. Uh, we would be able to see everybody and everything, but whoever's in charge doesn't want to see everything right yet, if ever at all. And so when we look up in the skies, we don't see what's actually up there. And I believe that. And one of the reasons I believe it is because when I was in the ashram, the teacher that I had at the time, Baba Muktananda, had visited a nuclear plant and watched from a protected area fusion of the atom being smashed. And he said the color that it creates when that centrifugal force meets is the actual color of what is outside of this planet. We are looking at a hologram. And so this was back in like 79. So I've got a groundwork of belief from years of accumulating information that when we look at it, the sky, it looks so nice. And the clouds, I love the clouds to watch them when I fly. But I
Constellations are
think
a hologram. Don't tell me that.
Well, this is we're living a holographic image. This is why 3D is disappearing because it's not real. So, uh-oh. Did you take the red pill this morning?
Oh no. No, I go out and look at that beautiful night sky and look at the constellations, go, what a beautiful hologram. And then my
Yeah.
my stones are charging up to a satellite.
It's a beautiful hologram, and satellites are still capable of generating energy.
Well, they
And
have to be. Look what happens to the tides.
right, right.
There's,
So you,
that energy coming from somewhere.
yep. So you're completely down the rabbit hole now. It's all
Exactly.
good.
Well,
It's
that
all
explains
good.
why they're. Well, you know what? That explains why they're there, and that is a statistic that there's more suicides during the full moon.
Hmm.
Screwing with the mind, I guess. Wow.
Well, hey, but see, there are some of us that are awake, like you and Dr. Ayala. Oh gosh, I wish I could have taped his last lecture at the center, but I've got some good stuff from when he would come on the air with me. That's on my
I was just.
YouTube.
That's too bad that we
Yeah,
can't get them on sometime in August, or like you said, while all of this, is going on right now, it'd be great to have them.
yeah, yeah. I'm working on it. I'm
Super
working on
busy
it.
now.
I'm working on it. All right. So it is 9:28.
I said we're talking.
Yes,
I gotta go.
it's time to go, and I'm just going to do the bells and
Okay.
just say I'm going to say instead of the Om, I'm going to say the invocation of the angels, which I probably shouldn't be saying that either. So I'm just going to say, God bless everyone. Remember that you are a sovereign integral and that the power of God lives within you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Good night.
Good night. Hit it again.
I find it so harmonizing. And we're